Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is the Community Pod, and I am your host, Lester Class. Each and every episode is going to be filled with amazing stories from amazing people. You will hear the different journeys people went through, or are still going through, to be able to do what they love. From the failures to the successes and everything in between. This is a place to get to know the person behind their passion, because people only get to see the successes and not what it took to get there. If this is your first time tuning in, please subscribe and leave a review if you love the content. Now finally, I would love to welcome you to the Community Pod. What's going on, everyone? This is Community Pod. Welcome back to another episode. I got Mekka in the building. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. One, I want to say I appreciate you for coming on the podcast. It's great having you. Before we begin, would you be able to tell the people what is it that you do?
So I style and I make jewelry.
Okay. So what is it that got you into styling people and making jewelry?
So I've been styling people since I was super young, and it was something I didn't really know I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So once I got to college, I knew I wanted to do something in fashion. I just didn't know what.
Okay.
So once I realized that I could get paid for just dressing people, I was like, oh, I've been, this is easy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing this. It's just a matter of me putting a price on it.
Okay. So do you feel like emotions can translate to the way that you look and the way that you present yourself?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Why do you say that?
Like today, for instance, this is my Sunday. This is usually my day off now.
Mm-hmm.
So I typically do things like laundry and things like that. This is my slow day. I knew that I had to come here, so I knew I needed to look some type of decent, but I have on leggings and a t-shirt.
Okay.
Because this is usually my day where I wind down.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still, presentable, but it's definitely toned way down than it would be on a day where I'm going out or, used to being on the go.
Okay. And do you feel like the way that you present yourself and I feel like when it comes to the aspect of dressing yourself is really important to give off a good impression to other people?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Why do you say it? Why do you think that it's important to, I guess, dress the part?
That tells a lot about you. And it's not necessarily what you're wearing. It's just, that's the first thing people see before you start to speak. Mm-hmm. So you need to look, at least presentable.
Yeah. So were you always into fashion at a young age?
Yes.
Yeah. So were you styling yourself at when you were young and making clothing and everything?
I honestly don't remember. I remember having some type of input. I don't remember exactly when I was fully dressing myself. I know it was pretty young, but my mom's into fashion. My aunts are really into fashion. My grandmothers are into fashion. So I was just around them, so yeah. I had no choice really. I just fell right in.
Okay. And do you that's got to have a lot of influence on you, that fashion came from generations in your family. Mm-hmm. So what is that like? Because there's individuals that get into fashion because it's a spark that happens within themselves, but you have had it all your years growing up. So what is that like, being surrounded by creative women in your family?
It's cool because I don't have to go outside of that to look for any inspiration. Mm-hmm. I'm not looking for anything. I feel like it's more authentic that way.
Okay.
When it just comes naturally.
Got you. And what do you feel like that you do as a stylist that is better or that makes you stand out from others?
That's a good question. I feel like I don't dress anyone like I dress myself.
Okay.
I allow my clients to be who they are, whether the stylist, their style is for me or not. Yeah, I just make sure that my clients stay true to who they are.
Okay. And so when is it that you started making, let me rephrase that, but styling people? When is it that you first started?
Like taking it serious was definitely in college. I don't remember which year in college, but I know it was in college. Actually, like helping people with outfits,
Mm-hmm.
I would say as young as 8th grade.
Okay. Because what I was going to ask is basically that, did you have that passion within high school or in 8th grade?
Definitely. Yes. Girls, especially high school girls, like when you're friends, especially when you have like a big group of friends, like on the weekends when you guys get together, like you're all sharing clothes, everybody's like playing dress up,
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. And I was always like one of the people bringing luggage bags of clothes over to the other person's house, and we're going through the clothes and we're dressing up, and I'm helping them with their outfits, or I'm picking the outfits. Like that was always something that I was doing. No matter which group of friends I was with, that was like a constant throughout my friend group still till today. Like, I mean, we're not sharing clothes, but like it's still a thing where like someone will shoot me a text like, hey, I'm going here, what you think about this? Or like if we're all about to get together, yo, what are you wearing, should I do this? Like it's definitely still a thing.
Okay. So because I feel like a lot of people, when it comes to being creative, they don't find that space, or they don't find it in themselves to be creative because of outside energy, if that makes sense. But you were kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were kind of blocking out that outside energy and was like, I really enjoy doing this, so I'm going to continue doing this.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So were you always like this? Were you always this confident? Not confident, but outgoing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Growing up, I was very, very shy, but I feel like that part of me was always something that like didn't allow me to be, I couldn't be shy in that aspect. Like it just never, even if I would try, it just always came out.
Okay. And so I know that like I don't know how long it's been, but I know that you worked with KITH, right? And you created the first, I believe it was the first Black Barbie doll.
Well, their
within
first
KITH.
Barbie.
Yeah, the first KITH Barbie doll. What was that experience like?
It was cool. It wasn't really an experience. I made it an experience for myself.
Okay.
But it was a competition that my boyfriend happened to see and get me signed up for. And then I just happened to kill it.
Yeah.
And that was that. But I made it an experience. I made sure that I was a part of the rollout. Like that was all like my doing. Like they could care less if I had anything to do with it, which was expected because like I said, it was a contest. So it was like I did it knowing that I would have to push for things that I wanted after that. So
exactly.
Like it was what it was.
So it wasn't much of experience, but like you got an experience out of it. But behind the story of the Barbie doll, like where is it that? Because I seen the clothing that you put on it, and like how technical does something like that get?
I was in there for a while, and the people that were in there, they actually liked the jacket that I have with me. I wore that day, and they actually liked the jacket. So like we were like talking, they made me super comfortable. So when I like finally started, it was like a room full of different outfits. I don't remember how many pieces they had, but it was a lot of pieces. And I literally went from, I mean, it was easy for me to pick the doll. My mom's black. I'm black. So obviously that was the only black Barbie. I was going to pick that one. So I picked the doll, and I literally just went from everything was on racks. So I went from each rack and just decided different things. And I actually had other outfits other than that one.
Okay.
I ended up going with that one because it felt like it made sense. I did research on their brand prior to, so like I knew what type of girl the KITH girl was. So I just used that and I went with that. And the woman that was in the room, she just so happened to say, like, no one put this together like this whole time.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't the last day, I was one of the last days. So my thing was, like, if nobody's done this, then this is a no-brainer, like, duh. And I did it and worked.
So what was it like when it was released and you saw that the Barbie doll that you created, the clothes that you put on it, were selling?
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't even believe it. And, like, I grew up playing with Barbies. Like, I loved Barbies. So, like, to have a Barbie, that's, like, crazy.
And were you able to keep that?
I did get Barbies.
Nice.
I did get Barbies.
Because when you say, because you mentioned that there was a bunch of pieces of clothing, right? So were they all like baby Barbie pieces?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And it was just like hundreds of pieces?
Yeah, it was literally like racks.
That's insane.
It was so cool.
And it was like like baby racks, or like it was all literally on racks?
No, it was literally on baby racks.
And you just had to go through all of them?
You. Yeah.
That's insane.
It was so crazy.
So it got real technical. Like you really had to pull pieces and really style and make it look cohesive. That's awesome. I think that's really cool because especially to have the opportunity to work with a brand like KITH that's so, I think, popular. I don't know if it's popular all around the United States, but I know it's really popular on the East Coast. That you created the first Barbie doll for it. And I think that's a huge accomplishment because, like, you don't, and especially I feel like a black Barbie doll, because you don't see a lot. There's not a lot. And I feel like if you go into stores, I feel like they don't completely represent what a black Barbie doll is supposed to look like, if that makes sense. Because I think you did an amazing job. Cause
thank you.
Of course. And I think you, at the time, you were getting the recognition that you deserved, because I saw that you were also posted on a few blogs as well. So what was that like? Were like people contacting you for interviews and things like that?
So for the first two interviews I did, actually one of them I don't know if she found me. I don't remember how that one happened. But the other one, I was in college with the girl, and she had just started like a blog.
Okay.
And that's how me and her did that one. But I don't remember if she reached out to me or if I reached out to her. Honestly, I'm one of those people. I will reach out to you. If I feel like I have something to say and you're going to listen, I'm reaching out. Like, because either you're going to respond or you're not. Like, but I'm going to at least try. So I honestly don't remember who reached out to who. I might have reached out to them. But, yeah.
Okay.
That's how.
Well, I actually like that the attitude that you just went along with that, where you, even if it were that you contacted them and they didn't contact you, you still put your name out there.
Absolutely.
And gave the effort, whether it was going to be a response or not response. And I think a lot of people fear like not being responded to, just because of the simple fact that they may not be responded to, and that they would look and may be perceived as someone who's trying to get something out of somebody, if that makes sense. But I also feel like you have to be able to understand that it's okay to like reach out, and if no one responds, they don't respond.
Right.
And I see it as, if they don't respond, or they do respond and it isn't the answer that you would have liked, when you get to the place that you want to get to and they start contacting you, now the roles have been reversed. So what advice would you give to somebody on, like, just, I guess, put like, what, I don't know if there's a saying for it, but basically, like, if someone's closing the door and you still try to put your foot in.
No one's going to do it for you. Yeah, that's it. No one's going to do it for you. So if you don't do it, it won't get done.
Simple as that.
It's as simple as that. And if someone does do it for you, no one's gonna do it like you will do it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So why not just do it for yourself?
Okay. So when it comes to back to styling and everything, is there a certain style that you enjoy doing?
No, I enjoy when, like, as for my clients, I enjoy when they just let me go.
Okay. They let you be creative.
Right, yeah. One, that shows me that you trust, that I really know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
You trust that I'm not going to try to turn you into someone that you're not.
Mm-hmm.
I like to have that trust. I feel
Yeah.
like with something like styling, like, essentially you're going out in this look or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So you need to trust me.
Yeah. And so other than styling, is there anything? So you also make jewelry, right?
Yeah.
So what is that like to make jewelry?
It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
It's fun.
It's really cool. Yeah. I didn't know if I was going to like it at first. But it's cool. It's really cool. Yeah, I like seeing people in my jewelry. It's really cool.
Okay. And so, well, after this, I might be stopping. Hopefully it doesn't rain, but Lost in the Rack. I just wanted to bring that up because you've done pop-ups at different spots.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I feel like pop-up shops do so much for entrepreneurs to bring a different type of connection to your customer. So it's all personal. You're speaking to the person making your stuff or selling you the item. I think that pop-up shops are amazing. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
Love them. Enjoy them.
What are your experiences like at pop-up shops as a vendor?
They're great.
Yeah.
Aside from the money obviously being great, I like to meet the people that are buying from me. I like to get to know you. I want you to follow me. I want to follow you back. Like, I'm not one of those people. Obviously, on my jewelry page, I'm not following that many people.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather follow other businesses just because that's where business is. But, like, a lot of my customers are on my personal page. Like, I'm super cool with that. And, just putting yourself out there. You never know who you'll meet. Like, you never know who you'll meet. You never know who'll tell someone else about you. Like, you don't know.
Exactly. And I think that one thing that I like about pop-up shops as a customer is the amount of people that are doing different things, but it's still, they all have the same mindset where it's, I want to bring the best possible like material or item to the customer, and you get to, like you said, you have a one-on-one conversation with them, and you get to know the vendor. And I think that's huge when the customer, the same way that the vendor, the owner of their brand or the vendor gets to speak to their customer, gets to know them, we get to know the person behind the amazing work that they do. So I think that's I think pop-up shops are just truly amazing, and I think that anybody who's an entrepreneur should definitely try to do pop-up shops, even if like they're just starting. I think that it's probably one of the best ways to make connections with people. Outside of pop-up shops, what would you advise an entrepreneur to start interacting with or getting their hands on?
Social media.
Social media?
Definitely.
Okay.
I've sold to people that I've never seen a day in my life. Well, at least I don't think I've seen them a day in my life. I've sold to people out of state that I know for a fact I don't know at all. And without, like, Instagram, for example, I wouldn't have that.
It's very true. And with social media, there's, like you said, there's more of a reach, even outside the United States. Like, the fact that we can communicate and have people in different countries wearing clothing, or, for example, tuning into a podcast. Like, I just think that the internet, social media, like, has completely changed this generation in ways that, like, yes, there's some negative, but there's also, I feel like, a lot of positives, where I feel like with TikTok, with the majority, where we get to hear about things in different countries where we never were knowing about news about oh, these people are going through this, and like not everything is sunshines and rainbows in different countries. So I just think that social media has brought a different light, and also can be used, because it also is used negatively, but can be used as a positive thing for businesses. So when it comes to just you as an individual, right? What do you feel like is something that you implement in your life that has been able to take you as far as you've been able to take yourself? Whether that's a quality or a memory that drives you to continue doing what you're doing.
I think me being aware of myself,
Okay.
just in general, just me being in touch with myself.
What do you feel like kids should, like, because you said that in the beginning, growing up, you were shy. And then eventually you began to grow up and realize that you can be outgoing and do the things that you love to do. What advice would you give to a kid that is trying to find themselves?
I feel like when I was shy because I didn't really know, or sometimes didn't want to accept certain things.
Okay.
So I would say get in touch with yourself,
Okay.
because nobody can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're gonna do that. Like, that's
Exactly.
another one of those things. Like, of course people know you, but no one knows you like you.
Exactly. I think that sometimes kids can be fearful of, like I said, outside energy, where they don't want to be creative because, especially, I feel like I've spoken about it so many times, but kids get bullied for being kids.
Yeah.
And you can't, oh, I want to do this. No, that's stupid. I want to be a YouTuber. That's dumb. You're not going to do anything. And like, kids just, I feel like kids put their own fears on other people, because they can't, if I'm scared to do it, I don't want you to do it, because that would make me look like a, you know what I mean? So I feel like kids should give one another a break. I also feel like they have to understand that, like, I don't know, I feel like kids should be nicer to each other, especially, I feel like the hardest time, correct me if I'm wrong, but was, I think middle school is probably the most difficult time, because I feel like everyone's just confused. I feel like high school, some people have a little bit of what they want to do, but middle school is kind of like people are bullying each other just because.
I feel like it's that transition into high school.
Okay.
Because I feel like, I mean, you're still a kid, but like, you're going to high school and you're about to be with people that are young adults.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm a kid, but I kind of sort of got to like grow up a little bit, because I'm really going to get clowned if I'm, in high school and I'm super immature.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's like that in between where you're like, okay, who do I want to be? And then when you get into that like freshman year, now you're finding who your friends, or who you hope your friends are going to be for this next couple of years. Yeah. So like, I feel like it's that, that's that weird period where you're just like feeling, well, you're trying to just fill yourself out. Like,
exactly.
Who do I want to be? What do I want to get into? What do I like? Do I really like, what I thought I liked 2 years ago? Am I really into that?
And I think it's a big thing, like you meant, that's a great point, because I feel like when you're a freshman in high school, like, the influence is insane, because you're looking at all these seniors, because I feel like when you're a freshman, you see seniors as like, oh my God, like, they're seniors.
Adults.
Yeah, they're like,
grown.
what that, like, that's insane. Like, I couldn't imagine myself as a senior. And then, like, we look at, I feel like it's insane, but in reality, when you're a freshman, you look at these seniors, even juniors, where you're just like, oh my God, they're like so much older than me, but they're really not. You know
right?
what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, these people are like grown, and that's why we try to like get cool. Like, I feel like a lot of freshmen would try to make friends with the seniors so they can be in this social status in school where it's just like, yeah, I was cool. I'm cool with the seniors. And I feel like that has a huge influence on like kids when they walk into high school, because they're just trying to fit in. and do whatever the people at senior year is doing and just do that because that's what's cool. That's what everybody wants to be like. But I think that kids should take time to, like you said, find themselves and understand that everyone is, like, I wish that we would understand that when we were younger, because it would help so much when we get out of high school. When you're able to be like, I can be my own individual by freshman year, and you're still on that same mindset once you get out, you'll be in such a better place when you get out. But once because I feel like, well, for myself, speaking for myself, I never really knew what I wanted to do because of all the influences in high school. I got out and I was just like, I can just be myself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to be what everybody else wants me to be or be influenced by the person I thought was once cool in high school. Because now all that status you had in high school doesn't matter in the real world. So, like, kids need to take a bit of a break and understand that it's okay to be authentic.
Right. Definitely.
I think there's beauty in being authentic because no one can be like you. That's why I think that I like doing this, is because your story is going to be different from the person that comes on next week or anything. Like, there's just going to be different stories every time. So if you don't mind me asking, what is something that has happened in your life that is a time that made you grow into the individual that you are now?
In what aspect?
In the aspect of, like, I feel like sometimes we can grow from either positives or sometimes our lowest moments.
I mean, like, what aspect? Like, in friendships, in work life?
Anything at all, in life in general. It could be a childhood experience. It could be an experience of anything that just, like, you go back to and just a memory that's stuck in your head that just, like, this is why I am the way that I am in certain aspects of life.
I can say so many things. I don't know which thing to say. I'm going to go with seeing my aunt and my grandmother hustle.
Okay.
I'm going to say that, and watching my mother make things happen. I still don't know how she made certain things happen. Seeing that definitely plays a big part in me being who I am, me doing things how I do things, my hustle, of course. Yeah, definitely watching strong women in my life. I hate strong, but watching them, do the things that they did.
And if you don't mind me asking, so were you raised by a single mother?
No.
No, you weren't raised by a single mother. Okay. So you do mention how, like, strong she is and as many things that she's been able to do. I feel like having a strong parent in general is one of the most motivating things in the world, because it gives you that push to be like, okay, now I eventually want to be able to do for you, and I want you to never have to do the things that you may have had to do when I was younger.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, like, to go into person, like, I've seen, like, my mom cry for certain aspects of life. I've seen her struggle, and it's motivating when you're like, okay, like, you'll never have to do that again. Like, I'm here, and, like, you raised me to be the individual I am, so I'm going to be able to do the things that, like, you may not have been able to do because you were taking care of me. Do you feel that way?
Yes, definitely. I spoke on my mom, just because, like, I feel like as women, we're supposed to be a certain way. We're supposed to do things a certain way. So I was speaking, like, more women to women. Yeah. But I did grow up with both of my parents married.
Okay.
All of my life. But, I mean, having strong parents in general, like, seeing their relationship, of course, seeing my father do what he has to do to provide for the
Yeah.
family, to protect the family, you know,
Mhm.
all of the man macho stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. All of that plays a major part in who I am, the different people I allow around me,
Yeah.
and things like that.
Okay. And what I do want to say is there was one thing I wanted to touch on where um we're talking about we were talking about your mom for a minute, and then if I get reminded of it, I'll bring it back up. But I had a thing I wanted to talk about, so if it pops back up, I'll
Okay.
ask. But so I feel like there's a lot of things that you could have done as a creative, right? Because being a creative, there's so many different avenues we could take, whether that's making clothing, styling, being an artist, or being a podcast. Like, there's so many different things you could have done. Why is it that fashion stood out to you?
So that's one of the things that I actually like about myself. I know what I like to do, and I know what I don't like to do. I know what I might like to do, and I don't like to waste time. So I'm not going to waste anyone's time with me doing something that I'm not too sure about. I'm just not going to do that. And that's something that I'm always sure about. So it just felt right.
Yeah. And you mentioned you don't like to waste time.
No.
And I feel like that's something that a lot of people do sometimes, where they don't take the initiative to do the things they want to do, either because they're fearful or just because they're too lazy to do it, right? And I feel like some people just need to get out, and in reality, and just get out their ass and just do it. You know what I mean? Because it may seem hard, but the hardest part is just starting. Once you get your feet wet, you're in the mix. Go.
You're doing it right. Exactly. Yeah.
So, like, what advice would you give to anyone as a stylist, in the perspective of a stylist? What do you feel like stylists should implement to be successful as a stylist?
Okay. So first, I'm gonna say that it's not that I'm not fearful. So I don't want anybody to think that like there's not times when I'm nervous or whatever the case may be, because of course, like, especially with something like that, like, you're essentially dressing somebody. That is serious. Like, nothing about that is a game. Like, that is serious. So you're gonna be fearful. I also feel like with styling, that has to be something that comes naturally. I don't think that's something you could force. You can't learn it. Like, I think that just has to be like, you just know if that's something for you. Like, I don't really know what kind of advice I could give, just because that's something that I've just always done. I just didn't know what to name it. More so. But I feel like you can do anything in fashion. Like, some things can be taught. I feel like with styling specifically, though, like, you have to just feel that. Like, it's something you have to feel and people have to feel.
Yeah.
Like, people, I don't go looking for clientele. People come to me. You know, so it has to be something that you're, like, radiating.
Exactly. And then, so I have a habit of doing this, but I was forming a question about time before I asked about advice for styling. And I do that all the time. But what I was getting at with time was basically, you mentioned that you don't like to waste time, right?
Right.
So I want to ask, why is putting your time in places that the time is needed, why is that so important? Why is it to put your energy towards certain things? Damn, Les, come on. I'm trying to form it in the right way. But basically, why is time so important? Why is it so important to put your energy in the right time?
Because you might miss an opportunity. Things move fast, especially in, like, with fashion. And I think you were saying something about this earlier, where, like, some, like, people are just doing things. Were you saying that? I thought you said, like, something about, like, people doing something, but I don't know, something like that. But what I was gonna say was, like, it moves quick. There's no limit on how many people can design things. So, like, if that's what you're going into, you need to go and do that, and you need to do it soon, because there's no limit, and we're all working with a brain. So, like, you know, everybody has different ideas. Sometimes we do have the same ideas. We just may not know each other, so we're not speaking about them or whatever the case may be, but there's a lot of things to think about. So, like, you have to get things done. Other people can do the things. And then you don't want to be that person that's like, oh, like, you know, I was thinking about that. And now it's like, it's done, you know? So, like, you're watching it just blossom. And you're sitting here like, oh, I had that idea. Like, no, now it's done.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people. I find that hilarious because, like, that actually happened when I believe my mom was talking about something. And she was like, this would be such a great idea. Like, oh, my God. And then, like, I think she said that, like, she said that statement before I was even born. When I was born, because it was something for a baby. It was a product for a baby. And she was like, something like this would make my life so much easier. And then all of a sudden, like, years down the line, we saw a commercial. And she was like, yo, that's my fucking idea. Like,
right, exactly.
It's just like, you know, it's funny because, like, without you knowing, like, you may have an amazing idea and someone else had that same idea, but they executed it.
Exactly.
Sometimes you just
you're waiting. You're sitting there waiting.
Exactly. And the more you wait, the more that you're wasting time. Because, and like you said, it's important not to waste your time because time is so valuable. Like, what's the point of I want to do that and then going, all right, I'm going to go play the game now.
Right.
You know
I want to do that, but I'm going to do it in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Because while you're waiting in 2 weeks, somebody else is executing it. So,
executing it and then getting on the game later on that night or something like that.
Exactly. Like, putting in the time where where that time needs to be put. Because, like, like last night, I posted a post where I don't think I went to sleep until probably like 5. I probably didn't go to sleep until about 5 in the morning editing. And my only thought is, this is all going to be worth it. Like, I'll lose sleep right now so I don't have to lose sleep later. So I can sleep in when I want to sleep in.
Right. Yep.
Because if you think that it's okay to sleep in right now, but you wake up and you got, how do I say this? If you go to sleep with problems and waking up with problems, why do you think that you can go to sleep and it's gonna be any different?
Right.
Like, you gotta, like, change. Like, you're gonna be, okay, I want to do this. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna instead of picking up, like, putting on a movie, because there's nothing wrong with doing that. It's about doing it when you can.
Right.
Everyone deserves free time to do what they want to do, but, like, when you want to do something, spend your time doing it. And especially if it's something that you love to do, it'll never feel like you're wasting time.
Exactly.
It'll never feel like you're wasting time. I think that's just something that people should just think about instead of, like, I feel like a lot of people do it. Like, they just say that they want to do something, like you said, and they never do it. And they regret it forever. And it's something that they stuck on.
Then you're one of those people, and now you're mad, and your nose is frowned up at the next person. Like, you're hating. Like, and all of that could have been avoided if you would have just done what they did and actually just done something.
Or even not do what they did, but do what you wanted to do in the first place.
Yeah.
So that, like, they couldn't have done it. They would have been the person to be like, damn, I should have done it before they did. Like, people don't realize that there's a whole bunch of people in this world, and, like, we're probably living a moment at the same time, living through an experience that they believe that they're alone in, but they're not. But there's moments like this you gotta get through it, and, like, even if there's a moment that you want to do, like, the what's it called, your passion, just do it. Like, I know that people say it's about money, it's about this and that, but there's a lot of steps you can take that don't cost a thing.
See, now that's another problem too. And I think a lot of people, like, that are in fashion right now, especially people, like, around my age. Wait, how old are you?
I'm 22.
Okay. So yeah, around my age, it's older than you.
Okay.
I feel like some people are doing things for the money.
Yeah.
And with styling, you can't just do that first of all, it pays well but you have to work for that. That's number one. And that's not something you can do for the money.
No.
Like, you have to be into that. You have to really enjoy that, because it is time consuming. You get some clients and they're not hard to deal with, but they're a lot. Like, it's, you have to really be all in. That's just not something you could just mess around with because I need a couple dollars or I'm trying to go on this vacation. Like, it's real work.
Yeah. So we are getting close to the end. So I'm going to be asking you the questions I usually ask everybody at the end.
Okay.
So I would like to first start off with, what is it that motivates you to wake up every morning to do what you do?
I enjoy what I do.
You do what you do? So it's just like off of, I love this, so I'm going to keep, this is what I want to do.
Aside from, like, obviously working.
Yeah.
Because, like, who wants to do that?
Yeah.
Like, my jobs that are, like, owned by me, my businesses, I enjoy doing them. That's what makes me continue to do them.
Okay. So the second question I'm going to ask you is, what is a message that you would give to your future self if they were watching?
My future self? Keep doing it.
Keep going.
Keep doing it. Yes.
Okay. Last but not least, what do you want the world to know about Mekka?
Wow. What do I want the world to know? What do I want the world to know about Mekka? I'm here. I have a lot to offer. Just gotta watch. Or join. Come for the ride.
Okay. So the podcast is now over. This is your opportunity. The camera's now all yours. If there's anything you got going on, any advice you want to give, anything that you want to say at all, this is your time.
Follow me on Instagram at Mekka Cheyenne, MEKKASHYIAN, and at Whodressedthem, WHODRESSEDTHEM.
Okay. So, well, now this is officially the end. I'm just going to go ahead and do my outro. So, Mekka, thank you for being here. It means a lot for you to come all the way out here. And I know it's about to rain, so hopefully it doesn't, so that you guys are good. Other than that, if you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe, leave a like, comment your favorite part. Also put on post notifications so you never miss a future episode. If you're watching on any audio platforms, please leave a review. It allows other people to find my platform. Other than that, if you are new here, welcome to the Community Pod. I am building a community of like-minded individuals who are just trying to follow their passion and do what they love. And if you've watched a few of my episodes already and are a subscriber and have been supporting for quite some time now, I just want to say thank you. If it weren't for you, I couldn't be able to call myself the Community Pod. So thank you, and we're out. Peace.
Thank you.